Embracing your authentic self, the revolutionary power of self-love. Welcome to this special TED Talk edition of the BlackCEO Podcast. Today, we're diving into a conversation that will challenge your perspective, ignite your spirit, and perhaps even change the course of your life. I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Cheryl Miller, a woman whose journey of self-discovery and resilience has not only transformed her own life, but is now rippling out to touch countless others. Cheryl's story isn't just inspiring, it's a revolutionary call to action, a testament to the transformative power of embracing our authentic selves. Cheryl Miller isn't just a survivor of domestic violence or a fierce advocate for her children. She's a beacon of hope, a living example of what's possible when we dare to look in the mirror and truly see ourselves. At 53, Cheryl describes herself as a prayer warrior, but she's so much more. She's a change maker, a paradigm shifter, a woman who's turning societal expectations on their head and showing us all what true empowerment looks like. Have you ever stood in front of a mirror and asked yourself, who am I really? It's a deceptively simple question, isn't it? But it's one that can shake us to our very core. We live in a world that's constantly telling us who we should be, how we should look, what we should want. But what if I told you that the key to unlocking your true potential, to living a life of purpose and fulfillment, lies not in conforming to these expectations, but in defying them? This is the heart of Cheryl Miller's message, and it's a message that has the power to revolutionize not just individual lives, but our entire society. Imagine for a moment a world where everyone embraced their authentic self, a world where we didn't hide our quirks, our flaws, our unique perspectives, but celebrated them. A world where vulnerability was seen as strength, where our differences were viewed as assets rather than liabilities. Sounds utopian, doesn't it? But here's the kicker. This world is within our reach, and it starts with you. It starts with me. It starts with each of us making the radical choice to love ourselves fiercely and unapologetically. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's easier said than done. And you're right. The journey to self-acceptance isn't an easy one. It's messy, it's complicated, and at times it can be downright terrifying. Cheryl knows this firsthand. Her path to self-discovery was paved with rejection, self-doubt, and societal pushback. But here's the thing. She did it anyway. And in doing so, she's shown us that it's possible for all of us. Let's talk about rejection for a moment. It's something we all fear, isn't it? The idea that if we show our true selves, we might be cast aside, misunderstood, or worse, actively disliked. Cheryl faced this head on when her own family struggled to accept her journey of self-discovery. Can you imagine the courage it takes to continue on your path when the very people who are supposed to support you unconditionally are the ones pushing back? But here's where Cheryl's story takes an unexpected and powerful turn. Instead of letting this rejection defeat her or make her bitter, she channeled it into a fierce determination to advocate for others. For over a decade, she's been fighting for those who can't fight for themselves, particularly children and families. This isn't just altruism, it's a profound understanding that our personal growth and self-acceptance can have a ripple effect, touching lives far beyond our immediate circle. Think about that for a moment. By embracing her authentic self, by refusing to shrink or conform, Cheryl has created a positive impact that's rippling out into the world in ways she never could have imagined. She's become an author, penning a workbook titled Embrace Me, the Real Me. This isn't just another self-help book gathering dust on shelves. It's a roadmap for self-discovery, a guide to asking the tough questions that we often avoid, a tool for transformation. Now, let's talk about vulnerability. In a world that often equates vulnerability with weakness, Cheryl's journey reminds us of its true power. She openly shares her experiences as a domestic violence survivor, her struggles with mental health, and the challenges of raising a child with mental illness. These aren't just sob stories. They're testaments to her resilience and the transformative power of self-acceptance. But Cheryl doesn't stop there. She's taken her message of self-love and body awareness to young women, tackling topics that are often considered taboo: menstrual health, PCOS, yeast infections. By bringing these conversations into the open, she's empowering a new generation to embrace their bodies and take control of their health. Think about the courage this takes to stand up and say, this is who I am. This is what I've been through. And not only am I not ashamed of it, but I'm going to use it to help others. That's not just brave. It's revolutionary. Now, I want you to think about your own life for a moment. What parts of yourself have you been hiding? What voices have you been silencing? What dreams have you been putting off because you're afraid of rejection or failure? Cheryl's journey teaches us that embracing these parts of ourselves isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about creating a more authentic, compassionate world. When we accept ourselves fully, we create space for others to do the same. We become living examples of what's possible when we choose self-love over self-doubt. But let's be real for a moment. This journey isn't easy. It requires courage, persistence, and a willingness to face our deepest fears. Cheryl describes herself as a prayer warrior, and there's profound wisdom in this approach. It's about connecting with something greater than ourselves, finding strength in our spirituality or personal beliefs. Cheryl's story also challenges us to rethink our definition of purpose. She talks about the shift from being an old person to a purpose person. This isn't about age, it's about mindset. It's about recognizing that our purpose isn't something external that we need to find, but something internal that we need to uncover and embrace. So how do we begin this journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance? Cheryl's workbook offers some powerful strategies. It's about asking ourselves tough questions, being honest about our experiences, and learning to love ourselves unconditionally. It's about understanding that self-love isn't selfish. It's necessary for our growth and for our ability to positively impact the world around us. One of the most powerful aspects of Cheryl's approach is her emphasis on holistic well-being. She doesn't just focus on mental and emotional health. She talks about physical health too. By teaching young women about their bodies, about menstrual health, and potential issues like PCOS, she's empowering them to take control of their overall well-being. This comprehensive approach reminds us that true self-acceptance involves embracing every aspect of our being. Cheryl's journey also highlights the importance of finding your voice. Despite having what she describes as a squeaky voice and a speech impediment, Cheryl has learned that her voice matters. This is a powerful reminder for all of us. Your voice, your story, your experiences, they all matter. They have the power to inspire, to heal, to create change. But here's the thing. Finding your voice is just the first step. The real challenge is using it. Even when it's scary, even when you face rejection or misunderstanding. Cheryl's advocacy work, her willingness to speak out about difficult topics, shows us the impact we can have when we dare to speak our truth. Now, I want you to imagine a world where everyone embraced their authentic selves. A world where we didn't hide our struggles or our quirks, but celebrated them as part of what makes us unique. A world where vulnerability was seen as strength, where our differences were viewed as assets rather than liabilities. This is the world Cheryl is working towards, and it's a world we can all help create. But it starts with us. It starts with looking in the mirror and embracing what we see. It starts with asking ourselves those tough questions. Who am I really? What do I truly want? What am I afraid of? And then instead of running from the answers, leaning into them, exploring them, using them as fuel for our growth. Cheryl's journey from domestic violence survivor to empowered advocate shows us that our past doesn't have to define our future. It shows us that we have the power to rewrite our stories, to transform our pain into purpose. But it requires courage. It requires a willingness to face our fears, to challenge the narratives we've been told about ourselves. And as we're near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge. Inspired by Cheryl's work, I want you to take some time this week for self-reflection. Ask yourself, what parts of myself have I been hiding? What dreams have I been putting on hold? What would it look like if I fully embraced every aspect of who I am? Then take one small step towards embracing your authentic self. Maybe it's speaking up in a meeting when you usually stay quiet. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's simply looking in the mirror and saying, I love you to your reflection. Whatever it is, do it with the knowledge that by embracing your true self, you're not just changing your own life, you're contributing to a more authentic, compassionate world. Remember, your journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance isn't just about you. Like Cheryl, your growth, your willingness to embrace your authentic self can have a ripple effect. It can inspire others to do the same. It can create change in your family, your community, and beyond. Cheryl Miller's story reminds us that we all have the power to transform our lives and the lives of those around us. It starts with embracing who we truly are, flaws, quirks, and all. It starts with recognizing that our voices matter, that our experiences have value, that our authentic selves are worthy of love and acceptance. So as we conclude this TED Talk, I want to leave you with this thought. You are not just who you've been told you are. You are not defined by your past, by your struggles, or by others' expectations. You are a constantly evolving, beautifully complex individual with the power to create positive change in the world. Embrace that. Embrace you, but don't stop there. I challenge you to take this message and spread it. Share your story, even the parts you're afraid to share. Encourage others to embrace their authentic selves. Be a beacon of self-love and acceptance in a world that often pushes conformity. Imagine the revolution we could start if we all embraced our true selves. Imagine the prejudices we could break down, the connections we could forge, the innovations we could spark. This isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's about changing the very fabric of our society. So I ask you, are you ready to join this revolution? Are you ready to embrace your authentic self, to love yourself fiercely and unapologetically? Are you ready to create a world where everyone feels empowered to do the same? The journey starts now. It starts with you. It starts with a simple decision to love yourself, to embrace every part of who you are. And from that decision, a revolution is born. Thank you for joining us on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Remember, your story matters, your voice matters, and most importantly, you matter. Now go out there and show the world the real, authentic, amazing you. The world is waiting, and it needs exactly what you have to offer. Let's start this revolution of self-love and authenticity. Together, we can change the world one authentic self at a time.